That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Texas 101 Jams. This is DJ Waynehead, and I got the fam up in here. Chris Holmes, the Soul Production. How you doing today, brother?
Doing great and blessed, everybody.
That's what I'm talking about. Blessed and highly favored, man. Let's get right into it, brother. Tell the people a little bit about you, where you're from. You know, how did you get into the industry you're in?
And the funny thing is, like, I got into this love by accident by helping out a friend with his camera. So it just went off from there. But just to backtrack, originally I'm from Huntsville, Texas, graduate of San Diego State University.
Come on, Sam Houston. Hey, I love Sam Houston. That's the one with the statue, right? The little statue.
You know, the funny thing, everybody remembers that statue.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, as soon as I drive through 45, they're like, what's that in the distance?
Yeah, it's scary at nighttime.
Yeah. I feel like that thing like creeping up on you from behind or something like that.
Exactly.
It's hilarious. So, like, of course, you know, went from there, had my camera work through college, and just like pushed off from there. But to come and give you like an overall summary, so published author of 4 books. I do photography, videography. I'm always collaborating with other entrepreneurs to expand and grow from that, because there's only so much you can do by yourself. You got to collaborate with different people, and you don't always have to be the expert. You know, you want to surround yourself with like people that's always pushing, and that's how you grow.
Exactly, about the collaboration. I don't know who reached out to who, but if y'all can go, I believe it's May 23rd episode that your very own DJ Waynehead was on the Soul Production podcast, and
next level.
Next level, next level thinking. It's amazing. I guarantee you, if you listen to one episode, you'll listen to another. This brother is doing big things, and y'all go listen to that episode. It's very funny, because I think I had the brother laughing majority of the episode.
Yeah,
so
I'm a goofy person now. I like to just enjoy life. You gotta laugh a lot.
Exactly. Now, how many brothers and sisters you got?
None. Only child.
Only child. So how did you make the decision of going into entrepreneurship?
I just always had that drive, and I'm very creative. So like even through college, I was like, okay, there's got to be something else out there. Like, what can I do to? I see everybody doing these big things, so what can I do to give myself the freedom to make my own choices, at the same time be able to make impacts into the community and just grow and expand from there. And I'm not gonna lie, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a job and things like that, but with entrepreneurship, of course, like, more responsibility is on you. But when you go the pathway of entrepreneurship, you have more decisions you can do on your own. You'll be able to make more moves, and you have that freedom. But as long as you put the work in, you'll be able to do that.
So, speaking about entrepreneurship, it's scary to most people.
Oh, it's scary.
So, the biggest thing for me, currently I still work a full-time job, and I'm trying to grow my business. How did you go from being, oh Lord, like having a guaranteed check to I may have a guaranteed check. I may have a check tomorrow, I may have a check Tuesday. How did you go from that mindset of becoming a worker to becoming like, I'm gonna do this myself?
It all starts from the mind. So like you may have a hard transition out of that when you surrounding yourself with a lot of people just like stuck with just being in the workforce and believing that that's the only way. But the more that you surround yourself with other entrepreneurs who have made it a success, and you constantly have that feedback going in, and they pushing you to go further, you kind of get over that fear. Now, of course, you got to go ahead and make that leap on your own. But when you have yourself surrounded by other people doing the same thing, it looks that much easier. And it's always good to like look at other the big entrepreneurs out there, from like Steve Jobs, Amy John, and all these other ones, and just watch the actions that they do. And then you will see like, okay, if I want to live this actual lifestyle, I'm going to have to put the work in and take that risk. And entrepreneurship is basically about like taking that risk, but seeing the past all the troubles and tribulations and able to see the bright at the end of the day.
That's deep, brother. We talked about previously about the Steve Harvey message.
Oh man,
can you kind of expound on that?
Oh, of course. So I may paraphrase a little bit, but the thing with Steve Harvey, and I was laughing at it, was a lot of honesty is you got to take that leap. And so many people, it's like when they get to that cliff and they look at like how far the downfall is, and they say, oh man, that looks scary, and they never do have the opportunity to take that leap. And they're looking at they're focusing mainly on just the fear part. They're not seeing like the accomplishments that they can gain if they take that leap. And what Steve Harvey was saying, you gotta take that leap. So like you may scar your back up, you may hit these rocks and things like that, but eventually your wings will expand and you will take off. And that's only if you just, challenge that and just conquer fear. I mean, if you think about it, every day we face fear all the time. Or if I just want to hit some people very hard, like if you remember, like when you see a lot of kids, they don't want to have like a lot of fear. They just take on and do it. They're just like, oh, all right, let's go.
Yes.
So
kids are fearless.
Yes. So like, what happened to us being completely fearless? Now I'm kind of hesitant. And you got to think about, like, look at your surrounding environment. You've probably been told, like, it's not possible. Come with a plan C. That looks great, but you may want to do this way. I don't want to see you get hurt. Mm-hmm. But, like, you learn through making mistakes and failure. And you just, like, take that and you advance over. So never look at failure as, like, the end results. It's like you got to take in and look at a different perspective. Of, like, this is a learning lesson so I can grow.
So you would say the things that fear is from programming. Would you say that?
Yeah, in your surrounding environment. I mean, because just going deep into it, I mean, it can come from our close friends, family members, parents, co-workers who quit on their dreams, and so many like TV. At a lot of times, like there's so many like different energies that can be negative. You just gotta like take yourself out of that and surround yourself with success and people that's actually making it happen.
Speaking of that, who do you have in your corner that's keeping you motivated when you're having those moments where things are not working out the way you envision them? Who do you have to go to?
Number one, God. That's automatically. And then of course, this is a thing that I feel like a lot of people forget. You never know who's watching. And it's a big surprise, like when I'm doing all these big events and like constantly grinding, making these big things happen through my mistakes, and people like messaging me like, hey, you're inspiring me to do this, and like it's like wow, it's like a wake up like, okay, I having a purpose of keeping doing this, because if I quit, I'm quitting on them, and they're getting motivated. So it's like,
you accountable.
Yeah, so I was like, I can't quit now, I got to keep going with it. And of course, family members, and just trying to like break through. It's like, if you can at least inspire one person to make a change, you made a huge difference.
Why is it that you get more support from people that don't know you versus the people that do know you?
The thing is, like when it comes to that, they grew up knowing you and they hold you at a certain position, and they don't really know like your visions, your passions, and what you have like deep inside of you. And they set a certain expectations of what you can exceed and get into in life. Yeah. And when you meet a stranger, like they don't really know your background, but they can see all your progression. You're like, oh, he's about to do, or she's about to do something great, and they only see that. So I feel like it's just, the person being around you all the time, they just have that certain expectation, and not realizing that you can actually grow a lot past that.
Do you believe hanging around people that are at a level that you want to be at? Do you believe in that truly the people you hang around is going to be what your future is going to be?
Absolutely. Like to the T. I rather hang around with successful people that are like either higher where I want to be at. Now, I'm not going to say like don't hang around people at your level. Like if they are driven and they're trying to make a change and just to be a positive in their life, of course, because they have that same amount of energy. But for the negative people that's always complaining, doubting you, and like they have an excuse every 2 or 3 minutes, and you can get them motivated, and then they quit again. I mean, that right there can be a drag. I mean, you can be wanting to get so many things done, and you're trying to go back and carry this person, and now you're slowing your own progression down. So that's why I'm a strong believer that you gotta hang around successful people of where you want to be in your own lifetime, or just have people surrounding you with that same amount of energy.
And I've heard you say about energy several times. Are you a spiritual man?
Yes, of course.
A lot of times people get religion and spirituality, it kind of crosses the line a little bit. So how do you feel about, let's just say, when you're talking about energy and frequencies and all these things, and then, a person wants to continually throw the Bible. I believe in God just like you know, any other believer who grew up in, you know, in a Baptist church. How do you feel about, you know, those people who you know, they always try to throw a scripture at you, and it's just like, man, this is, you know, is what I put out is what I'm going to receive, and it's just facts, you know, it's, you know, it's what it is. How do you feel about those kind of people?
You would hit me with this hard question. It's very controversial. Well, I put it like this: I respect anyone's belief in their traditions and what, like, you have the option to do that. But you know, at the end of the day, people have the choice to make those decisions. At the same time, like, I feel like, you know, we gotta get to the point. Like, I put it like this: one of my favorite sociology professor always said, we may agree to disagree, but we may disagree a lot of times, but we gotta get to the point where we agree to disagree. Yeah. I mean, we're gonna have difference. We have difference from our family backgrounds, culture, traditions, and much more. So we just gotta, like, learn that it's okay for somebody else to be different. Yeah. You know. So that's, like, the main thing on that. And another thing is, I wish it would happen more often, is just because that they may have a different view, don't attack the person, because then it becomes offensive. I mean, there's nothing wrong with learning different kind of things. You know, that's part of learning. Like, if you want to know something, you ask questions. I mean, that's all a part of it. Yeah. But to just pretty much throw somebody down like they're completely wrong and all that, just treat them like they're evil, without even trying to understand where they're coming from first. I mean, I feel like that's wrong. And the biggest thing is communication. Communication is everything. Communicate.
Now, a lot of times we have our, you know, we don't adapt well, you know. So you have this preconceived notion in our mind. This is what I believe, and anything against that is the devil, is this, is that, you know.
Yeah,
just I never understood why we like that. Be open to more information. You're never gonna know everything, and everything you talk. Sometimes God gives us this brain to think. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have to, you know. Not old folks say don't question God, but just, you know, be inquisitive.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, it's how you're raised. Yeah. And like, a lot of times you can relate to me on this, or during a tradition, like, you don't question a lot of things. I mean, that's understandable because you're a child. Right. But when you become an adult, you're exposed to so many different things, especially in college. There's so many different things you learn from that, different perspectives, and you see that the world is so much bigger, and like I say, this than just the United States. You got different countries out there, right, and there are different beliefs and things like that. And I feel like what happens a lot is that we grow up from, of course, our family traditions and things like that, but we hold this as the only right way. Yeah. So if anybody comes in from a different perspective or angle, we're just going to, like, attack, and defend this. Yep. But not. Instead, we should be like, okay, let me listen to you, get to understand where you're coming from, and I may disagree with you, but at least I have a better understanding.
Be open to everything, especially if you're gonna be an entrepreneur. Everybody's not gonna come from the same background. And one thing I want to go on to next is, how do you feel about networking, and specifically networking on social media?
Networking is huge. I believe it's all-time must. Yeah. And now I gotta be heavy on this one. I really can't stand when you have a lot of people that just demonize social networks. It's all about perspective. Like, you can use these social platforms to your benefit to actually gain a lot of things that go in your favor and can impact. Like, now with the internet, you can actually connect with people from different countries that you've never had access to ever before. And it's all about perspective and how you use it. I feel like a lot of times, especially the older generation, looks at it like, oh man, you have all these young teens on the phone, they're not doing anything in life, and this person can be on the phone and making transactions, but because of your perspective from what you thought was going on, it just pretty much ruins it in your view. But, like, you just got to be, like, you keep hitting on, it's like open-minded to, like, the new things. Always be innovative. Like, it never hurts to learn.
So do you blame let's say our parents' age, the baby boomers age, do you blame them for wanting to stick to this old method of work for somebody for 30 years, get retirement, and go to the post office, work there, get your pension, get your retirement, and then don't do anything else on the side, and that's just how life is? Do you agree? Or if you don't agree with that, how do you feel we can build that bridge to kind of have an understanding between our generation and the previous generation?
Now, it goes back to what I was saying, like, it's how you're raised. Now, with that said, is it really depends on the individual, because you know some people are just stuck in their ways and just I don't want to hear it. This is the right way, but there may be times where you just gotta come at a different angle, where it's like at their level, so they have like they may be a little bit more slower understanding coming up to it, but you know everybody is different, so you can talk to one individual one way about getting them open-minded, being more aggressive, and sometimes you gotta be a little bit more softer, because it's all about like how you're raised. So like let's say I guarantee you if I was raised in, let's say, another country, let's say Africa or you know in Russia, my perspective would be completely different. I can't fault my parents for that, because they're raised in that area.
Yeah.
But I gotta be, now where I do fault people is like when you're closed-minded and refuse to listen. You know, you gotta be open-minded, communication, always stay learning, and just like look at different views.
What was the turning point in your life when you decided that you're gonna step out and you're gonna get on this entrepreneurship journey?
That started not too long after high school, because one thing that aggravated me a lot was, okay, I'm putting out, now this is gonna be funny, I'm putting all these hours, like, you know, they teach us like to work hard, you don't get what you want, you know, flip burgers at work, McDonald's and stuff like that. Right. But I'm seeing someone else doing half of that work and making like 5-10 times much as me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. So I gotta figure out like what they're doing and how they can get that kind of income and have that, you know, that freedom to make those choices. And it all starts with the mindset. Yeah. You gotta be open to it. But like if you refuse to learn and refuse to pick up books, I mean that's one thing that we hate to.
Hallelujah.
And we refuse to just like, you know, just stay innovative and things like that. You can backtrack so many ways. One of my friends that I interviewed from my podcast, it made a great analogy about this. It's like we're a caveman trying to light a fire with these sticks, and we have the match and all these other technologies that we can use to make this job much easier, but we're stuck in our cave just trying to do it our own kind of way. Yeah. And I feel like that's what's happening in 2018.
You touched on something that's very, I would say within the last 3-4 years, as I've gone on this journey of reading books, specifically, I'm going to talk to us as black people. We have to read more books. Now, I will say our generation is a little bit better, especially with audiobooks. You have no excuse why you can't listen to an audiobook. And if you come up with excuse, I'm sorry. There's no excuse. You don't have to. All you have to do is listen. Mm-hmm. And the book. This is gonna lead into my next question. What book changed your life? I'm gonna tell you the book that changed my life. It's Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Okay. That was the book that changed my life, because it was something so simple, but until you're exposed to it and realize like, okay, this is what it is, you just don't know. What was the book that kind of changed your life?
Now, when I mention this book, all the hip hop fans about to go like crazy on this, but the book that really started me with thinking like outside the box was the book by Tupac, The Rose That Grew from the Concrete. And so like I'm a very poetic person, so like when I saw him use his words to basically to bring his perspective, but in an art kind of form, it started that, you know, thinking process. Like, okay, I can, just like the standard way, but I can think outside the box, still deliver my message across in an artsy way where people enjoy it. Right. And so it started from that, from poetry, from accidentally just getting to a camera, from video recordings to pictures and things like that. All this is just like, you know, ways of displaying your art and getting your message across so other people can appreciate your talent so much more.
Right. So you have, how many businesses do you have?
Soul Productions is the main one. Okay. Of course, I have different other ventures, but Soul Productions is the main one, providing, of course, you know, photography, videography, advertising, consulting, and now I added, of course, the podcast, but now more strongly in social media content, because there's a lot of business owners that don't have a strong understanding when it comes to using these social media platforms, and they don't really see. Now, this is one thing that one of my top entrepreneurs listen to a lot is Gary Vee.
Gary Vee?
Yeah. And they always want to be like, okay, we're putting this out on Instagram, Facebook. I don't see the money coming in. And the one thing that Gary Vee said that made me laugh when they had a strong point. It's like, okay, so they asked like, what's the ROI of social media? And his response was, okay, what's the ROI of your mother? It's like, whoa, it's like a step back. And when you think of social media, it's more of like reaching out to huge masses, like creating that brand and connecting, building relationships with people. And when you connect with people, like it's like you start slow with your little web, but as you constantly get engaged with it and keep expanding it, it's going to pay off eventually. I mean, you may not see the immediate results. I mean, that's why I feel like a lot of people that stuck in traditional numbers kind of like not see the value in the beginning. But I mean, the perfect example of this is like look at Nike. The way that they branded themselves, so you see that switch, you already know sports and stuff like that. Or if you hear like ESPN highlights and all that, or Apple, you see that Apple with a little, you thinking like they're all their technologies. And like I feel like a lot of times, especially small business owners, don't really understand the big value of branding. I mean, it may not give you tremendous money in the beginning, but I guarantee you in the end, that's going to give you the most. It just takes time to build it up.
And I think with it from the generation, with the microwave generation,
and we want everything quick.
It's my money, and I need it now. Exactly. It's like it takes time, but that goes to my next point, and I want you to really expound on this. Finding something that you're passionate about, because it makes it so much easier to stick with something that you're passionate about versus chasing after money, whatever's paying. You think somebody else. I look on Instagram and I see such and such doing this. Oh well, I'm gonna try that too. And then after 2 weeks,
phase out.
It phases out. How do you agree with my statement about finding something you're passionate about first, then pursuing that that model?
I'm strongly agree with that, because like if you don't have a strong enough passion to it, like we just say, you phase out. You don't want to do it, and like you may face a challenge and you just don't want to continue at all. So, but when it comes to finding things that you're passionate about, the best way to do it is have life experiences. Like you have to get out there, try new things constantly all the time, from high school graduating, even college, or whatever. Where you're starting at, just go out in life and try new things, because when you expose yourself to so many different people and things and arts and stuff like that, you will find out eventually of what you like. I feel like what happens is we look at these social media platforms to see what's coming in money, and then when you actually get into it, your heart's not really into it, and when you face a challenge, you're like, oh, I don't want to do it because
they don't work.
And here's another thing too, is like anything that's good doesn't come easy. And you gotta have faith and be consistent with it. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it. There's a reason why you only have a small amount of people having this huge success, money and things like that. And I will say success is, not all about money, but I'm not gonna lie, it feels pretty good when you have financial freedom. You can relax, you're not worried about bills and stuff like that.
I'm not gonna lie to you, the best feeling in the world is going into the store and being able to buy something but don't do it. I made it.
Because you feel free.
You're
not having to come to the grocery line. You're looking at this grocery like, oh man, I'm gonna have
Let me check my balance.
Like, oh snap, did I bring my coupons and all this other stuff? Like, I need all this food, but let me check my bank account. You can go first. But it's a whole different feeling when you actually go in the store and be like, I don't have to worry. I can just do what I need to do and go home and enjoy life.
Do your parents support your business ventures?
They do. And now, like you said earlier, they may have because they're coming from a work environment, but they're seeing the progress. And I think that's what happens. Like, they may not support it a lot in the beginning because they came up from this foundation. But when you keep pushing and they see the success and it's growing, then they'll be like, okay, he or she may have a point. I can let them fly off on this.
Exactly, brother. Exactly. So, what's next for you and your businesses? What do you have coming up?
It's a whole lot. So, like, from doing more consulting one-on-one, I want to host huge events, huge workshop conferences, keep expanding the team. I don't not only just want to take over Houston, I want to take over the United States, the countries and stuff like that. The sky's the limit. It's where you put your mind at is where you will grow. and I want to be able to, of course, have the books, even more books like that, online workshop only, have my own class sessions and things like that, give a tremendous amount of value. And from doing all of this, I can make the bigger things I want to do, like making scholarship programs or entrepreneurship thing, building that community, buying a property. Speaking of property, this is one of the big things I want to get to, because when it comes to establishing, especially a neighborhood that's struggling, we got to get more into real estate. I mean, it's an important asset that affects not only your lifetime but your future kids. Now, imagine if you have a huge amount of property and you put franchises and much more onto that. That's like a team revenue, and then you can pretty much flip it for you much higher, or you can just use that money and get some more land. And the more property you have, or you can just put like this: get the land, put a couple houses on it, and have some revenue coming in through rents. I mean, it's all about building your assets to work in your favor. I feel like a lot of times, like we were discussing earlier, we believe like a 9 to 5 is like the only way. But when you get to the point where you can make money in your sleep, are you making some boss moves?
I read somewhere, trading time for money is a foolish man's game. You should have a system where, like you said, you make money while you're sleeping, because it's never enough hours in a day.
Never. Like you can go all out, grind, hustle, and you can be on that 23rd hour and be like, I didn't get done.
Yeah, exactly.
But one thing I want to key on too, and I noticed this from a lot of different workshops, and a lot of people may not notice, but I do take notes. I may not say nothing, but I do. Systems are very important. Like if you look at any kind of the funny thing is, most of the retail stores or franchising you have from McDonald's, Burger King, Ross, and things like that, they have a system in place. So when an employee comes in, if they learn that system, they can keep the business running.
Yeah.
And when you have a system in place, that's when you can actually, have managers take over that little, whatever store like that. You sit back and worry about other investments, but you got to have a system in place.
So standardization, like a whole set. So any Joe Blow off the street can read this manual and be trained, and you don't have to. That's it. It's hands off.
Because they know how to run the business. I mean, if you look at it like that, all the top CEOs that's making a big money have a system.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we try to challenge that and feel like we can do it another way and make more than that. It doesn't work. You got to have a system in place. There's a reason why you're working at, this McDonald's or Burger King and stuff like that. You have a system. Or this retail store like Ross or Marshall, they have a system. Or this insurance business, they have a system. Right. All these big fours businesses that may do it huge and expanding, they have a system.
You spoke on real estate. How big is credit when it comes to obtaining real estate?
Credit is huge, and this is one of the scary topics that I got to hit on. Is that a lot of our community doesn't want to talk about it. But when you really want to make a dramatic change in your life, especially for your kids, you got to get that credit up. One thing that I can't really blame my parents at this, but if you can teach more information about credit at an early age, by the time they hit 18, they're so much ahead of the game, because at that time they have so much access. But we forget about when you have a strong credit score, you have access to huge money, access to banks. You come into a bank with a credit score like 730, 750, and we can trust you. We go to a dealership and not even have any money at all. You still pull up your credit score. They're like, oh yeah, we can trust you.
Brother, they treat you completely different. I'll tell you a story. Me and my lady, we moved into a house, and we needed a washer and dryer. Now, I go in my work clothes. I purposely go everywhere in my work clothes. I work in a brewery, and I go in a big shirt that's looking dirty, and I have my jeans that probably got Clorox on them, and I look
working
toward
hard.
Working hard work, like manual labor. I go up in there, nobody comes to. We're in there at least 20 minutes. Nobody comes to see if we need any help or anything. And then just so happened, one person came over there. And
probably dragged over it. Don't lie. He was
yeah. They dragged over there, and we told them, we picked out the washer and dryer that we wanted, and they was like, "Well, you're gonna, pay cash, or you want to finance?" And I was just like, I figured we'll finance. And so I went to the counter and I gave them my information. They ran my information. They was like, "Oh, you've been approved for $3,000."
That jump though, that's like wait a minute.
It's literally like they gave him a shot of candy or something. They were just like, you can approve for $3,000. You can do this. Dude, you want to stay with this one, and you want to go to a larger one? No, I want to stay with the one I want to, and I wish you would have kept the same enthusiasm
in the beginning
before you knew what my credit score was. And it's sad that that's the way it is, but that's what credit is so important, people. You have to keep your credit. Even if my credit was messed up, and I worked on it. I had to cut back some of the things. Now,
sacrifice.
Make sacrifice. Now my bank account may be the greatest, but my credit's straight. So credit is more important. With credit is king. You can get anything. It's people out here who don't have $1,000 in their bank account, but they're driving cars with low interest rates. They're driving Teslas with 0% interest.
Yep.
And they wonder how they got that because their credit score. Credit is king.
And we gotta break a lot of our bad habits. And I gotta be honest, a lot of when it comes to our culture, we want to spend, but we gotta be smart and disciplined because that's the way we're gonna establish our credit. Because we want to make smooth credits is where it's at.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. All right, brother. We gonna let you know that I appreciate you for coming through, man, and tell people where they can reach out to you on social media, and also where they can reach out to you if they want to get any kind of photography, videography. Where can they reach out and contact you?
Okay, so of course I'm gonna keep it easy in the beginning. Like you can email my business at soulproductions@yahoo.com. Or you can go to my website at we got a caller.
Oh, we got a caller. Come on, caller. Let me see. Take some one-on-one jam. Take some one-on. Oh, okay. Let me hold on 1 second.
Come on, speaker.
Like, go.
I got to the 21st.
Hey, I'm gonna need y'all to stop calling me and harassing my boss man like that. But where can they reach you on the social media, brother, again?
I saw.
Hey, that's real life.
In real life, boss man, like what, man?
I got
that phone out. Go ahead and leave that phone out the hook. But they can reach me. That's on my website at yourvoicessoulproductions.com. Of course, on Twitter, chomes_, Instagram, chomes2_. I try to keep it kind of similar way. Or LinkedIn, just search my name, Christopher Holmes. Facebook, it's at Soul Productions 1. Or you can just look at my Google Soul Productions, and you'll just find information.
Hey, make sure y'all check out that podcast also. That podcast is amazing. What's the name of that podcast again, brother?
Next Level Thinking with an exclamation mark.
He has about, at least 80 episodes? 60?
Getting there. I just looked at it as we're running at 70 episodes right now, so we should hit 100 before the end of this year, and start hitting bigger names, because that's the main goal. It's I want people to see I'm putting a lot of work into this.
Yeah.
And so how many episodes you have? I'd be I have 345. They were what? So yeah, 345 episodes.
Hang up on, yeah. Push the 2 and then hang up on.
Yeah, that's the
no. The one blinking.
Yeah, that's the main thing, man. People like to see progression. I'm pretty sure your initial episodes don't sound like your latter episodes because you live and grow. Just like this, this platform that I've been given, the Texas One-on-One Jams. My first couple videos, my first couple interviews, it may have been good, but it was, the quality wasn't there. But eventually we're moving to a point where we're trying to bring some sense of professionalism and want to give the people some valid information and bring entrepreneurs here, because ultimately the goal is we want everybody working for themselves. We do have to have people working, but I would like people I care about.
Yeah, that's big. And I want to get one thing I meant to hit on earlier before we get the last little remarks is we may not like it, but first impressions is everything.
Yeah.
It's when we see somebody, you know, the first thing we like you use our eyes. So like even though you went through that, you know, instead of like looking at, using it as a negative view, flip it to your advantage. Like if you can walk into, let's say, a big event, a gala full of nothing with millionaires, and you only got $2 in your account. But if you dress sharp, your mind's sharp, and you talk and walk like you know you're confident, they don't expect you're in the same field.
Exactly.
So you gotta pretty much play the cards in your game.
That's called finessing the system. For those who don't know, it's all about the finesse. You gotta fake it till you make it, and that's the big thing. Mr. Chris, I appreciate you for coming through, brother, and support black business. You know, and we'll get into it. We're gonna get into the little mix. We got about 20 minutes left before I'm off the air. I'm gonna get into a little mix for y'all, and thank y'all for tuning in. This has been Movers and Shakers. We got Mr. Chris Holmes with Soul Production, DJ Waynehead. Let's get it. Alright.
I know don't have a laugh. Like the bill collectors come in the middle of the show. Like that, y'all ruthless.